just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from the one I had today. I took a walk one street over from my home.
1100 WSGI. I'm your turn, LaVern, and this is One Street Over. Scott Erwin is in the house. This is Veterans Day. This is, well, it's not Veterans Day. It's the day we talk to the veterans. That's what we do, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. So I don't know what just happened to our screen. It just went kind of wonky here. Let me see if I can I can fix that. Look at me. Ah, there we go. I don't know where that's. I'm playing with my graphics here as I'm sitting on the. I'm a multitasker, y'all. Come on. But welcome to it, guys. You know, Scott and I were just chit-chatting as he came in, and I cover this a lot, but let me just go ahead and put this out there again. If you do not realize the cool company that you have right here in the heart of Robertson County, you've got WDBL, which is the Spanish side, and you've got WSGI here, the English side. This is a worldwide Christian broadcast company via the internet. We have our terrestrial signals, which is so cool that we still have terrestrial radio here. I love that. But it's a wonderful company, and if you want to be part of what they're doing here and what they've been able to build, reach out to Ilya Maldonado, and maybe you've got an idea for a podcast, as long as it's faith friendly. He could talk to you about getting you some airtime and doing all those things. And so, I mean, it's just a cool company. So if you want to be a part of what's going on here, reach out to them. It's pretty cool. Because Scott, we were just kind of batting it around about the different things that are going on here and how long this has been here. This company, DBL, has been here since the very early days of radio. So it's just cool that it's still surviving. So we need to support the local radio station, y'all. Come on, we need sponsors. We've got we've got some sponsorships out there right now. If you would like to sponsor the program, be sure and let me know. We have got, it's so funny because Gwen Harder sent me an article. She's like, read this because Scott's coming in. You need to ask questions about that. And I forgot about it. And so I was like, she'll be like, yeah, right, LaVern. So, but you came in today. You've got some real specific things that you want to address. I mean, a lot of times it's just like, okay, here's what we do. We want to make sure we're here. It's just the general things. But I got the feel from Gwen that we've got a very, very specific agenda today that we need to cover. Would that be correct?
Well, there's a couple of things that I want to hit. We were just saying when I came in, it's good to see you again. It's been a couple months.
Yeah.
But what we've been seeing, I guess, a little more of an uptick on in the office. But I happened to get some information about it from a law firm about a month ago. Is some of the fraud that's going on that involves a lot of our veterans, our widowed spouses. Okay, and it's from companies out there that are not licensed to do what they do, but because of loopholes in the government wording of documents, they can get around certain things without being prosecuted. Mm-hmm. And so what these companies are doing, and when you get a chance, just take a look at that, what I sent you. What these companies are doing is they're reaching out to veterans. They're guaranteeing them benefits, which if anyone guarantees you anything, you need to do a 180 and walk away. Yeah. If they say it's going to be fast-tracked, it's going to happen probably in the next month or two, you need to walk away. The VA is the VA, and they have their own timeline. Mm-hmm. So that's just a couple of several red flags that I want my veterans and families and spouses to be aware of. We have a lot of veterans that are older. They're getting benefits. There's a fiduciary in place because the veteran or the beneficiary isn't mentally competent to handle their own financial affairs. And so the families need to be aware about this and what's going on, And a lot of these companies are charging thousands and thousands, and it's equaling millions of dollars that these companies are getting to quote unquote assist veterans and do these claims for them. As your listeners should already know, that's what we do. We're county employees. The county pays us. Let us take a look at it. I'll never guarantee anything except that I will take a look at it and do my best.
Right.
And as an office, you already know, we've done very well. Just the last fiscal year with $52 million coming into our county based on VA benefits and medical care. We're pretty good at what we do.
Say that number again.
$52 million just last year.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So,
I mean, and it's just like, okay, we were talking with, I was talking with Mayor Vogel yesterday and talking about the sales tax projections and all that. That's what that comes down. I mean, it's like you bring $52 million in and, and a whole, I'd say a big significant portion of it's going to be spent local.
Correct.
And that's amazing. And this is money that so many veterans that were cast aside, our Vietnam veterans, cannot say enough about that, but they were cast aside. They weren't taken care of in the way that they should have been taken care of. And now they're finally, getting some benefits, and it is about time. It is about time. And so y'all do an amazing job. Amazing job.
I have a good team.
Yes, for sure. Yes, you do. But, so this is like, okay, so when we talk about the fraud side of it, my first, thought as we start talking about this is like, well, fraud's everywhere. I deal with a lot of immigrants, and one of my biggest, things with the immigrant community, because especially the Egyptians, because they're here and they're, they end up being citizens within about 5 years because they have been invited to immigrate. But they get here and they have absolutely nothing. They don't get any benefits, nothing. And so they have to navigate all the waters, and they start getting these, once they start working, they start getting these letters that they think are from the IRS, and they're about to come and get them. I mean, I've heard voicemails so alarming and they have no idea. And so they deal with that. So it does not surprise me that there's groups targeting our veterans and especially our older veterans.
Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating because my veteran starts getting the benefits he or she earned, and now all of a sudden you have, I'm not going to use certain adjectives, but certain groups of people that like to be lazy and target, some of our veterans. When I was in my master's program at Trevecca, one of my professors told us, he said, guys, when you are out in the field and you start, it was a business degree. And he said, when you're out and you're helping with these companies and you're running your different things, he said, you need to have at least one lazy person on your team because lazy people can figure out how to get to the same point with the shortest amount of work. And I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But that's typically, unfortunately, what lazy people do.
Yeah.
And so I still remember that from, 7-8 years ago. But, these, we have veterans who come in. Gwen had them within the last month or two. They spent $200 to get their dad's DD-214. Okay, because that DD-214 says that you're a veteran, says when you served, some of where you served. That's kind of our golden ticket to allow us to help you. We need to see the character of discharge is the big one. It can be dishonorable or it can be honorable, and many in between. But we have families that come in $200 later to get the dad's 214, and it just, takes our breath away because I said, I could have got that for you for free.
Yeah.
That's just one of the many things that we're able to do to include your military medical record, treatment record, administrative record. We can request all those for you for free. Now, what I will tell my veterans is when you request your military record, you may only get 100 pages, maybe less, even though there's 200 in there, because when, as an EMT for 25 years, when we're taking care of a patient, oftentimes back in the military, we had our own stamp, and we would stamp. That stamp had our name, our rank, and it had our social on it. So because of HIPAA, my veteran may not get all those pages because it has my social on it.
Oh, okay.
So that's why when we file a claim for disability, I may see 300 pages or 500 pages in there, but you only have 100.
Because some of them's been redacted.
Some's been redacted. It's got socials, and of course they can't release those.
Right.
So don't think just because they sent you 20 pages, that's all that's out there on you.
So how would you get if there's critical information in that? So how would you get that then? What would you do to get the additional?
The only thing I can think of is this going to come to, because our memo of agreement with the VA is a system that we've got. We cannot print and give to the veteran. We can lose our job.
Really?
Even though I can see it, I can show my veteran, this is where you were injured and you were treated in Vietnam at this station. He'll never get that if it has socials on it from another person.
Okay.
But I can tell him, I see evidence in your record. Now, if it gets into a court system where lawyers are involved, they can subpoena certain records, and then they're going to be released. But a veteran on his or her own, they're not going to get them.
Okay.
Well,
and I think that's what leads a lot of people into these fraudulent situations is maybe they've tried to do it on their own.
Yeah.
And then they just don't even realize. I talk to people all the time that are veterans. Do you have a veteran service office? Where do you go? Do you have somebody you talk to? I didn't know what veteran service offices were about really until I met you guys. Until I met Terry at, I guess, probably the Bluegrass Festival, and so I mean it was really surprising to me that there was a dedicated office for that. When I've seen, and again, this is something. How long has ours been in place? Because I mean, this is something that not everybody has a dedicated office in their county. And ours really started out as somebody volunteering and just doing it, and then it built into a job, and then it built into this big thing that's bringing $52 million into the county.
Yeah, that Wayne Duggar was the main backbone of the Robertson County Veteran Service Office, and I believe there was a young lady that was before him, but it really became accredited, formal training, and stood up. Because there's certain laws and guidelines we have to follow as an accredited service officer. And we can lose our job if we don't follow them. So Wayne Duggar really picked up that torch and ran with it. And this was, I want to say, 2006.
Okay.
And then, it became what it is today when, Dan Riley and a couple of the others came on, and Dan hired Terry. Terry did it for 10 years.
Right.
Phenomenal. I wish there was some capacity he could still be with us.
Yeah.
Because of his drive and his expertise. We miss him. But I still reach out to Terry from time to time.
Yeah.
I said, hey, buddy, I need your help on this one because it's going to take a deep dive. This veteran doesn't pause when he tells me a Vietnam story, and he's so detailed. I feel like he was there. I believe him, but there's nothing in his record that says he was there. So, there's been times when I've reached out to Terry and I'm like, hey, see what you can find,
Well, that would be
Terry's just so good at the research.
Yeah. That's fascinating that somebody could have those kind of, that it wouldn't be in his record. And
it happens.
Oh, wow.
It happens quite a bit. It happens quite a bit.
Because somebody just didn't do their paperwork.
Yeah.
That's incredible. We're talking with Scott Erwin. He is the director of the Veteran Service Office.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. I was trying to make sure I had the title right, but they have got an amazing office here, and you've got an amazing new office. You want to talk about your location of your office while we've got a second here?
Absolutely. We used to be located at the old hospital right there at the main Robertson County City Building. County building. We were there for, I guess, a couple years, 2.5 years. And we were blessed enough to be picked to go across the street at the Robertson County Plaza brand new building there. I think our county mayor said that the county has owned that property for years and years, but they just built that building. It's less than 6 months old that we've been there, and our phone number is the same, our email is the same. I know Gwen has been our IT go-to because I am the least tech savvy person out there, one of them. And so I usually, when we have something coming up, I'll ask Gwen to put something out there on our site.
Yeah.
And I've worked with Chet, our IT guy for the county, to try to make sure any old information was pulled and taken down that might have existed out in Greenbrier. I don't want my veterans going to College Street. You know, it used to be the old City Hall in Greenbrier that's moved now.
Right.
And we're not there. So, but we've been there for about 6 months now, just right across the street from our old location. And we have our own offices. We have a separate conference room. So when certain appeals come up where you might be on the computer with a judge, a VA law judge, helping to decide your disability claim, some veterans wait 5 years or longer for that interview with the judge.
Wow.
And maybe they live out in rural Tennessee and they don't have very good internet.
Right.
Well, you can come to our office. We have a room dedicated for that. And on a day and time, we can help set up a computer with a big screen TV. It's probably 60 inches on the wall. And you can have your time with the judge, you know, to discuss your claim. So that's part of what that conference room is for. So, and then of course, Abigail and I have our own office. It's a lot more confidential and compliant with privacy than what we used to have. What we used to have, we tried to make it work. So we're extremely blessed and thankful that the mayor said, "Hey, Scott, you guys are going to be over in this building come this date."
And you're over there with the mayor and 911, right?
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
there anybody else in there?
There's the county engineers over there as well.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
All right.
Trey is over there and
I
Laura.
still haven't been over there to visit. I keep saying I'm going to come pop in and just.
It's beautiful.
And what days of the week are y'all in? Because y'all work remotely on, I want to say, Monday and Friday.
Yes, ma'am. And I presented a few months ago to the county, the full commission body for Robertson. I think there were 24 commissioners present, including the mayor. This is what our hours are. You know, Billy Vogel's our boss. I report to him. And each county in Tennessee, with the exception of Cheatham County, is the same way. County mayor is our boss. And I explained to them that we're in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday every week, 8 a.m. to 4:30. We usually ask that appointments are made for Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we do have veterans who may not be as flexible, and they say, "Hey, can I just come in on a Wednesday?" And so we have walk-in Wednesday.
Right.
We're veterans, you know, and it's first come, first serve. I usually ask my veteran, "Hey, try to make an appointment, because if I need to spend 2 hours with you to go over some really important information to make sure that you're crystal clear on what I'm going to need from you, then we have that time." When it's a walk-in Wednesday, if I have two people waiting and you're in my office, we might be 30 minutes later, you know, and then I'm going to ask you, I'll get you started, and then we'll make an appointment. So now I did just have a conversation with Mayor Vogel on Monday. And this hasn't been public information, so this is the first time it'll be out. But starting the springtime, I'm probably thinking April of this year. Those admin days that we have, Monday and Friday, have been instrumental because of the research that goes into claims. Those veterans that come in and tell me, "Scott, I was deployed to Afghanistan, but I don't have a record of it." And so I have to dig through 800 pages of records on our system to try to find maybe where he has orders to, you know, that location. Maybe he was injured and he was seen at the field station at that location. So we look for anything we can find, baggage, luggage information that says, the veteran was in Vietnam or Afghanistan. So we look for anything and everything in their record. That takes time. We do not have the time Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to be doing that, because once you start deep diving into a record, sure enough, because veterans, they'll come in. We want them to come in, but it's very difficult to kind of get deep into a record, and then you have to stop.
Get interrupted.
It's very difficult. So those admin days are important. Sumner County they have their admin days. But what I was saying, I spoke to Billy, our mayor, is starting in April, me or Abigail are going to be there 5 days a week, one of the two of us. Gwen's going to be there 5 days a week. So our office come April will be Monday through Friday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Abigail's probably going to take an admin day on Friday so that she can get caught up with admin claims and research. And then I'm going to take an admin day on Monday. So we're going to fill in for each other. So 5 days a week, one of us is going to be there.
Okay. So what were we, with the office being open then on Mondays and Fridays, how is that going to be structured? Are you going to take appointments, or are you going to make it more just kind of like a walk in and try to get your administrative work done those days?
We haven't decided how we're going to treat those days, because there's a lot of veterans. Abigail has done really well, and she has a lot of her own veterans that, are partial to her. They only want to talk to her, deal with her. I'm certainly willing to, on Fridays when she is out on admin, I'm certainly willing to assist with general questions. But I have a feeling it's probably going to be just appointment days.
Okay.
My appointments are going to open up more on Fridays, and I've said it before on the show here. If my veteran is in an assisted living facility or they cannot physically make it in, I'll go see you. I don't ask Abigail to do home visits for obvious reasons. She's a young lady, but I will do home visits. She and I both do nursing home visits. And so we'll come to you if you just let us know. I'll say that too.
Okay. And I mean, you just having a veteran in my family, I understand the importance of a good veteran service office, because I hear now he has been fortunate that he has had really good veteran service officers. He was when he first left the military, he was in Cookeville, and I know their area over there has a pretty reputable group, because they've worked well with him, and I don't know who he's working with now, but it's something that every veteran, when you leave the military, it's one of the first things you need to do is get in contact with your veteran service office and make sure that they have all your stuff, so that if anything comes up, you've got some records of stuff. It's much easier to keep the records than try to find the records, right?
Right. Yeah. If you're given something when you get out, hang on to it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes things, disappear.
Yeah.
And they can't find it, but you got a copy.
Right.
So
that was one thing when he first got out and started bringing stuff in, trying to keep up with stuff for him as he was in transition. I still have some of his stuff in my shed, I think, but that's what you do. You got to keep up with all that stuff. We're talking with Scott Erwin. He's our director of our Veteran Service Office here in Robertson County, an amazing organization. If you have a veteran in your life, ask them, when's the last time you talked to your veteran service officer? And do you have any issues? Do you know about the new programs that are not new, but there's new stuff coming out all the time, new understandings about the things that happen to our service, our military when they were deployed, those kinds of things. And there are benefits that are crucial for getting them through health issues, or just helping them with PTSD and all of those kinds of things too. So, I mean, it's all of it. Anything and everything, this is where you need to go, is to the Veteran Service. And you had mentioned your number hasn't changed, but you didn't give your number. So can you give your number a couple of times?
Yes, ma'am. It is 615-382-6506, 615-382-6506.
Very good. And I tell you, we're going to pause for a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and do a break for Barry and Rebecca Richards. But then when we come back, I want us to kind of double back. I asked you about the office and stuff, but let's double back about this article and about the fraud issues and what you really want to talk about today.
Yes, ma'am.
I will tease. We're going to Gina Head's going to come in here for maybe just a few minutes before the top of the hour to remind you about Tyler Head's charity run that's coming up this weekend. It's on Saturday, so we're going to give a quick plug for that, if that's okay.
I'll be there.
The last couple of minutes. Are you going to that?
I'll be there.
Awesome. That is awesome.
I brought it with me, so.
Oh, you did? So you even brought that?
Yeah.
Well, because they asked me this, well, can Gina pop in for a minute? I said, well,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
absolutely. But I had her on last week to talk a little bit more in detail about that. And so we want to mention that. But I also want to mention, I got a text from them that our Senator Kerry Roberts is going to be speaking at the GOP on February 1st, which is they have their meeting for Saturday. And he's going to be there. His speech will begin around 9:25, but Senator Kerry Roberts is going to be there talking about the new legislative session. So if you want to hear from Kerry, we have not had him on radio. He strives to be in here once a month. He has just had a whole lot of stuff going on. He's been just too busy. But I messaged him a couple of weeks ago, and he says, we're getting close. We'll get back into a routine of getting him in here once a month very, very soon, because it is interesting to talk to our lawmakers and just kind of see what's going on, especially since they're in session. But let's talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty, whatever your real estate needs might be. If you are buying, if you are selling, the big thing, if you're somebody that's trying to purchase, the thing that they'll constantly remind you of is finding out how much home can you purchase. That's something that so many people fail to do. They start talking about wanting to buy some real estate, and they really just have no idea what they even qualify for. So that's one of the first things you got to do is how much house can you buy? And some will say, well, I'm waiting until the interest rates go down. And Barry will tell you that that you don't need to, because when the interest rates come down, house prices go up. It balances itself out. So people will ask him, when is the best time to buy? He says, right now. Today, especially if you've got a piece of property that you've got your eye on and it's come up for sale, it may be the only time in your lifetime it's available. So you better, if you've got something you're really interested in, don't miss that opportunity. Rebecca is one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. That's a big thing. This is an old county. There's a lot of older folks here. And as things are expanding and moving, more and more people are considering, maybe I need to downsize. Maybe I don't need this much land. My kids aren't coming back. And when you're taking all those things into consideration, you need somebody like Rebecca, an expert at dealing with those waters and those opportunities. And then you've got Barry that has the marketing expertise, having been a vice president of a media marketing company for nearly 17 years. He is the broker here in Springfield. She's an agent up in White House. They have a new branch in the Exit Tree. They were with the Garden Gate team for many, many years, but they started Exit Prime Realty, a new branch in the Exit Tree. Same great company, about this time last year. And they want to invite you to come in, whether it be you're purchasing or you're selling, or if you just want to be mentored into being a realtor. They are a great couple to work with. And you can get a hold of them at sellwithbecky.com. You can go to sellwithbecky.com, or you can go to buyrobertsoncounty.com. Or if you'd like, you can just give Rebecca a call at 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. And as I always say, please let them know you
Yes, ma'am. So I think it was end of last week, I saw the email come across the county mayor, Billy's secretary, Miss Leanne. She sent the advertisement out for the Tyler Jackson Head Memorial 5K Fun Run Walk. And I got to reading it, and I saw some of the medical conditions that he some of our veterans have the same issues. Yep, the Crohn's, colitis. And then I was just curious, and so I dug a little bit, and I saw what happened to the young man.
Yeah.
And my wife and I lost a son 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh, I didn't
Unexpected.
know that.
He was 21 years old. Had a heart condition that we knew about, but it was exacerbated by, he came down with a gastro viral, and so where he got real dehydrated, and because of a heart condition, he ended up dying in his sleep. And unexpected, I was on the phone with the paramedic at the scene. So it was just an awful,
Heartbreaking.
terrible time, thing that happened. But, Miss Gina was in our office a couple weeks ago because she was saying, Scott, can you help this veteran? They're about to evict him. Our church has been helping. And so I kind of met her that way. And then I saw this come out, and Miss Gina Head's name was on here. And then I saw the background on her son. I've lost a son. And so I said, this is a worthwhile cause.
Wow.
And so I will be there on Saturday. I'll be the one huffing and puffing, trying to make it through, but I do not plan on doing much running, but I will be there to support and donate toward this cause.
That is wonderful. That is what a coincidence. I love how God puts together those little coincidences, but that's amazing. That is amazing. That's something I did not know about you. God bless you.
So
God bless you. Well, that's one where Gina's going to be popping in here at the end. So I just think that's wonderful that you even brought that material. They'll love that. We're talking with Scott Erwin, and again, that plug for the fundraiser on Saturday, and it's just she talks about the camaraderie and the reunion aspect of that, getting together with his friends and different family members and things like that. So it acts really much like a reunion as well. And so I think you'll enjoy being a part of that. Now, we were talking as we sit down, there's been an uptick in fraud that has come about that is directed right at our veterans. And again, we see all kinds of fraud targeting, but when it comes to our veterans, that really makes me mad, And so talk to me a little bit more about what we have going on with this article.
So the PACT Act, that Biden signed into law in August of 2022, it opened the door for a lot more veterans access to VA health care. It opened the door for some disabilities that were previously being denied and not connected to service. So we call those presumptive conditions to Vietnam veterans, like high blood pressure was one. And so many of our Vietnam veterans suffer from hypertension. And it doesn't matter the cause, but if you had qualifying service, in one of the locations where the VA says Agent Orange was used, and you've got the diagnosed condition, it's service connected. So it doesn't matter that you smoked 2 packs a day, because hypertension is one of the many conditions so many of the veterans suffer from. They finally admitted this is an automatically connected condition. So when that PACT Act was signed in August of 22, it opened the door for over $200 billion to be dumped into veterans benefits and health care. So I was raised in the deep South, South Louisiana, and Tennessee is quasi-South, but in Louisiana, South Alabama, Mississippi is just a lot different. And every year, part of our life was hurricanes. Okay?
All right.
And so sometimes you get some bad ones, sometimes not so bad, but every year you're going to get some hurricanes. Yeah. It's a fact of life. Well, when we get some bad ones, like I think 2019-ish, 2020, when Michael came through, it destroyed my mother-in-law's house. And she's been fighting with the insurance company for years. So unfortunately, when these bad things happen, it brings out the trash.
Yeah. And
here come these fly-by-night contractors who say they're going to help, and everything's so scarce. The materials, the manpower is also scarce. And so when you have someone knocking on your door wanting to help or saying they're there to help, they're really there to take your money.
Yeah, exactly.
They're there to take your money and then not ever finish the job. You won't see them again. And good luck on ever getting your money back. There's a lot of times that don't happen. Well, this $200+ billion that the PACT Act, these benefits were added because of the PACT Act. Here comes the fraudsters.
So it's from that.
It's money.
That's okay.
It's a big old dollar sign, and it's government money. If you want to say it's guaranteed money. That's why
money.
When I was going to college, and I was using my GI Bill, they smiled ear to ear because they're going to get their money. When I was using my GI Bill, so they were happy to help me with paperwork and get me through classes. But these companies, this one company, Trajector, was the name of it, made over $127 million in 18 months. In 18 months, they made $127 million.
Unbelievable.
And so by law, legally, they cannot file your claim for you. So what they do is they bring you in, they bait you in. We can help with we can develop your claims. We'll do the research. We'll do all this, but legally they cannot submit the claim. So what they do is they bring people in literally off the street. They call them benefit coaches, and they Google information. It's something as simple as you and I can do, and they teach the veteran how to do it themselves. So you're paying tens of thousands of dollars, and all they're doing is teaching you how to do it yourself because they can't. And so one of the first things we do in the office is when you come visit with us, if we're going to work with you, we get you to sign a paper that says we're your POA. And one of the three organizations that
POA,
a power of attorney.
Oh, okay.
So a power of attorney.
Duh.
So a power of attorney, which me, Gwen, and Abigail, we have the VFW, Tennessee Department of Veteran Services, and the American Legion. We're going to put you under one of those three organizations because we have to test and train every year to maintain that accreditation to be able to assist veterans under that organization to file these claims. So that's one of the first things we do. Without a POA on file, I cannot talk to the VA.
That really surprises me because I think that's why I wasn't expecting power of attorney to be POA, because I'm stunned that you have to get a power of attorney on this, but it does make sense.
Oh yeah.
That's really interesting because I think that would probably be, to me, if somebody says, okay, I got to be your power of attorney, I'd be like, say what?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so that just is breathtaking. $127 million that they made
in 18 months.
In 18 months. Oh,
yeah,
that is incredible.
Because, like I said, there's loopholes in the way the law's worded. They get around it, and they're spent. Recently, these lobbying people that are on Capitol Hill, they spent almost $1 million. They're trying to get these companies made into legitimate companies. And
to scam our veterans.
I pray it doesn't happen.
That's incredible.
I pray it doesn't get buried in some bill they pass. That's how things seem to be these days.
I know, unfortunately.
There's no more you as an individual standing up and saying why my office needs this. Yours gets buried into 18 other ones, and hopefully it gets missed. So I hope that doesn't happen. We have some new leadership in DC. Things are turning. I pray that the right decisions are made, and that we kind of get back on track. I hope things don't get missed. I do believe that our veterans will be. I want to believe that our veterans are going to be taken care of. And so because of things like this, we just have to be careful. So, yeah, anytime dollar signs are out there, and especially if it's government, I'm telling you, they're coming. The fraudsters are coming. And you have to be careful. There was a gentleman in my office yesterday. He got upset because his claim was denied. He got impatient, and he went and got a lawyer 3 weeks ago. And I said, sir, because that lawyer is now your POA, I have no visibility. I can't assist you with anything. So our hands are tied. When a veteran goes out and gets a lawyer, we cannot see anything. We cannot help you with anything. That lawyer has your POA. And they're going to want to drag your claim out as long as they can.
Because it's going to pay.
Because it's money.
Yeah.
So be careful.
Yeah.
And we can't pick you back up until you have a release from that law firm saying you owe them nothing, and we can be your POA.
That's incredible. And is this one of those situations, I know we certainly can't get specific about it, but is this one of those situations that you think he had an avenue of appeal?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now he's muddied the waters with this attorney.
He has,
Gosh,
and he was in the office, and he said, Scott, I had no idea. I said, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can talk to you and recommend what I might do.
Mm-hmm.
I said,
Fire your attorney.
yeah. I said, but they're gonna. That's tough because they're gonna end up wanting their money, and they didn't do anything for you. So before you rush out, please do not get impatient and hire someone to do this. They're not going to be any quicker than what we're going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% understand it can be frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I've had my own claims that have been denied from Afghanistan. It can be frustrating,
Right.
but be patient. Let me work with you. Let Abigail work with you, and we'll get you there.
Mm-hmm.
Give us time.
I love it, and such a great office. But like you said, it's easy to understand why people get frustrated, because I know I had to. This is not related, but in a way it is. When I first became U-Turn LaVern, we had to file a federal trademark because people were ripping it off. So we went to avenues of trying to file. I was trying to file a trademark, trying to do it myself. It was the biggest hot mess. I ended up finally having to hire an attorney to do it, and it was expensive.
Yeah.
For something that I should have, you think, well, I should be able to do that myself. And so you do get frustrated and you do have to go that route. But if there had been an office, I could have gone in and said, hey, we will help you do this. Wouldn't that have been wonderful? But this is one of those things that you do have that office. You do, because when you're filing stuff with the government, yes, it gets frustrating and it gets frustrating quick because you just, oh my gosh, I just remember that. As you're sitting there talking about that, I remember my frustration trying to deal with that situation. If I'd had somebody that I could have physically sit down and talked to and said, here's what happened, here's what I did, the amount of money I would have saved myself is breathtaking.
Yeah.
Over the course of my career. And I hate that for that veteran that you're talking about that went out and got the attorney. And there are a time and place for attorneys. I have attorneys that I use that I love and they're wonderful, but you got to be careful because there's so many out there. They'll have you. I'm sure they had this veteran sign up that he's probably signed some paper giving away a percentage.
Oh yeah.
Of what?
It's 30%. 30% of whatever. If he gets anything, they're going to take their cut on the back end.
I wonder if there's any. That's just so sad.
I mean, there was a veteran Terry had that lost $60,000, and had he stuck with Terry just a month or two longer, and that was $60,000 that he had to pay a law firm. So just please don't get impatient. Please don't get impatient. Let us do everything we can, and then if we're unsuccessful, what have you lost?
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
some time, but
exactly.
And don't come to us late. The earlier the better. I know your son served. I still want him to come see us. The longer you wait with these claims, sometimes the easier it can be for the VA to say, "You're getting older." Not because of the military.
Yeah.
So just sooner the better, but now rather than never.
Right.
So come see us.
Yeah, and I haven't talked to him anything about what he's doing in regards to his time in service and things that he came back dealing with. But I feel like he's on top of it because we talk a lot about it. But he probably still would benefit from coming and sitting down and talking to y'all for sure. And that's one thing too. Even though he is originally from Robertson County, he lives out of county, but y'all can still help him.
I've got a call from a gentleman in Missouri yesterday. And so I've probably gotten 6 or 7 calls in 2 weeks from out of state.
Wow.
Alabama, several from Missouri, because I helped another veteran in Missouri who told a friend.
Yeah.
And I was on the phone for over a half hour with this veteran, kind of giving him pointers and advice. And he said, Scott, I'm so glad I called you because I was about to go to a lawyer to help me with this stuff. I said, hey, don't do that. I usually tell my veteran, find a local resource because logistically, they're going to need medical records. You're going to have to sign some stuff. It's easier when you're close to someone. I said, but if you cannot find a local service officer who's any good.
Yeah, because there's some that aren't.
There's some that aren't. I told him, I said, call me.
Yeah.
And I will be happy to work with you out of state. It doesn't matter. I've gotten calls from veterans that were overseas.
Wow.
They were deployed, and he was going to be coming back home soon, and he wanted to start getting his stuff lined up. Some counties, because of the volume of veterans, Sumner County has over 12,000 veterans, and there's 3 of them, 3 VSOs. So they're very busy.
Right.
And so our office stays busy, but and I'll always say, hey, have you tried your local VSO first?
Mm-hmm.
Scott, I tried them. They never got back with me.
Mm-hmm.
Or 10% was the best I'm going to get according to them. I'll take a look at it. Abigail's going to take a look at it. Let me take a look at it.
Well, and Gwen has chimed in on comments here, says you can go to the VA website to find a real VSO in your area.
Right.
And that is, well, sometimes people pitch themselves as VSOs that aren't. Well, they put that moniker on there and they're not legitimate. Oh.
Well, that's like our office, Robertson County Veteran Services. A lot of hospitals and clinics think we're the VA. And they'll send us medical records at no charge.
Mm-hmm.
But if the veteran requests those same medical records, it's $50.
Mm-mm.
You know, so they think we're the VA, but we're not at all.
Yeah,
we're county employees.
Right. That's interesting. I mean, there's so much that you need to know if you've got a veteran in your life, and so many things that you need to be aware of, and making sure that they've got everything covered. I know that I see on the top of your stack of stuff, you've got some stuff about the run coming up. Is that what I'm seeing there?
Mm-hmm.
What have you got there? So, and I saw Gina come popping in, so we're going to talk to her in just a few minutes. But is there anything else that before we invite Gina to come in and talk, is there anything else that you want to make sure we cover that we haven't already touched on?
You know, we've got the on the 4th of February, we've got the monthly Post 45 American Legion meeting coming up. It's on the 4th of February at 6:30 p.m. it starts, and I just want to try to get the word out, because the more members that the Legion has, the stronger the voice on Capitol Hill. Even in the military, when you were part of an organization, non-commissioned officers association or whatever it might be, if you had 1 million plus members, you got to speak with certain elected officials before other people, because you represent 1 million people. So our American Legion, our VFW is, I wish we could get some younger veterans and members. Our Legion members and VFW members are older, Vietnam veterans, 1990 Gulf War. We just don't have very many young ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so our young ones, I mean, you don't want to lose this voice that speaks for you and your benefits. I don't want you to reap the benefits and never knew the work that went into it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people making sacrifices, and so it's almost, I feel like you owe it to other veterans, you know, to become part of an organization like the VFW or Legion, that advocates for veterans' benefits and rights.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's part of what we should do.
I've talked to my son about, joining in. He's like, oh, that's a great idea. And then he gets busy and he forgets to do it, and all those kinds of things. So I'm going to tell him what you just said, and that'll strike him right here. He'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, I need to sign up.
Need to.
Yeah, he needs to. And I don't know what all organizations he's involved in. You know, he's busy with his work and stuff. But that's a great appeal right there, what you just said about if you really want to have a voice when it comes to the things going on. This is something you be a part of. I saw Gina pop in out there. We've already been talking. Lee Marie's starting to pop in here. We've already been talking about the run. And so, yes, look at you. There you go. But let's talk about what's coming up, because I thought it was quite interesting that Scott came in with the information about the run. And I just love how God just works stuff out, because he, like you, lost a son, and it was related in some ways to what your son had as well. But I mean, you didn't lose him in the same way, but the connection there. I just love how God works that out. And I mean, he didn't know you until you came in to ask for some help for a veteran, right? How crazy is that? Don't you just love how God just works? I mean, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
So talk to us.
Well,
Pull that microphone to you, sweetheart.
We're going to have great weather on Saturday.
I know, it's going to be beautiful. Last year it was not. No, it was a little bit rough last year. Yeah.
And it's at J. Travis Trice Park, Tyler Jackson Head Memorial 5K Fun Run. It benefits Crohn's and colitis and the Austin P. Scholarship in Tyler's name. And it's donation only. We don't have a set fee or anything like that. We've got T-shirts I brought in a T-shirt.
Yes.
I'm wearing a T-shirt. If I'd known you were here, I brought it. But
Love it.
anyway, but yeah, we just
There you
will
go. Looks
love to see
good.
all of your smiling faces.
Very good. They're beautiful. You always do such a great job with your T-shirts. They're always so cool.
Amy DeBerry
Okay.
is, who always does our T-shirts
Uh-huh.
now. She's
That's
done them
really
for
cool.
years. I have to throw out her name there. She's wonderful,
Mm-hmm.
and she's helped me so much.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I mean, she does a really good job on it. I love the design, and I mean that's a big deal, because I'm a T-shirt person, and so when was the first time you met Scott? You said you came into the office. Had you known him before?
With me being a county commissioner, I knew him when he took over from Mr.
Terry.
Terry.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Okay,
I had seen him
okay.
at some of the commission meetings, but I went in to talk to him about a veteran that needed some help.
Okay,
And he and I talked for a while, and he made contact with my person, veteran person, and I reckon he's taking it from there, and they're doing okay. I reckon.
outstanding.
Yep.
That's great. I love it. So, very good. And so, give me the particulars on when the actual run starts.
Registration started about 8:00. The run will start at 9 or somewhere thereabouts. We're not real.
Not very formal.
Not
It's
real
just-
formal,
It's
but
about fun. Well, I was telling Scott, I said I love what you said about how that it's a reunion in many regards.
it is.
Mhm.
A lot of Tyler's friends will show up. I never know which ones.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on what they've got going on in their life and if they're in town or whatever. And it's a day to celebrate Tyler, to remember Tyler, and to give a bunch of hugs and smiles to everybody.
I love it. I love it, and I love that you're gonna have beautiful weather.
Yes.
And I love how God's just getting it all organized for us. So, all right, guys. Well, we've got about we got a few minutes left here. What else do we want to talk about? What are we missing here?
Well, I know with the event coming up, it is a walk run. Is it timed?
Not officially. My Tyler's dad is a runner, so he usually has a time. He'll set a time for when we start, and some of the avid runners will time themselves. They'll time themselves. They have their own watch or whatever. But we have a lot that are just the majority do walking, and they don't time themselves. They just
That's
come
me.
they come and show up and support the family. That's what
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah. What is the route? What is the route?
Starts at the first pavilion at J. Travis Price Park, and it goes toward North Main Street, the 5K, cross the bridge, go under the bridge on Memorial, and go all the way to North Main, turn around and come back to the pavilion.
Okay.
We don't cross any streets. We did it purposely like that so we wouldn't have to close any streets or anything like that,
Okay. So it's up the Greenway.
It's just the Greenway.
Right.
Yeah, it's flat, it's
Right.
not anything.
Well, I've spent a lot of time on the Greenway.
Yeah. But anyway, it's just the Greenway, and, we will have, we have EMTs and everything out there
Sure.
too.
Do you have any issues?
Yep. And
Are you going to have any vendors?
no, I am having.
Bring you picnics.
Yeah, well, I will have. We will have some hot chocolate. I don't know that we'll need it.
Yeah, 'cause it's going to be warm.
Yeah, but I'm getting that from Historic Perk.
Oh, good.
So they're helping me out on that, and
Okay.
so we will have some hot chocolate. And I figured people would rather have hot chocolate maybe than coffee. So
Well, but you got to figure, I'm looking at the temps right now, 54 for a high that day. You're going to want hot chocolate in the morning. You're
Thought
going to want
so.
something warm. The
And we
low
will-
is 42.
right.
I'm still, I'll drink hot chocolate in the summertime, honey.
Yeah.
I'll drink, you drink your coffee. So no, I think you're still, it's still, it's February.
Yeah.
It'll be February on the
February
gosh,
1st,
I can't
yep.
believe it's February already, you guys. Oh my goodness.
And we always usually have water bottles and everything for in case he might need
Right.
some water. So
Well, very good. And did you know about the sign program that she has that they did? Tell them about that. That's something you shared with me this year that was new for me. I did not realize you did that. But tell them about the what you did with the signs.
I wanted to put something up down on Madison Street in Clarksville where Tyler was killed. And I contacted Clarksville, and they didn't have anything for me to be able to do that. Plus, it's a state road. So I started looking into memorial sign programs. And I just kind of took one from, I think it was North Carolina, I believe, or a couple of other states that had them. And I contacted Kerry Roberts, and I contacted Joe Pitts, he was representative at that time. He's a mayor of Clarksville now. And since it was in his county, Representative Joe Pitts, I figured I needed to talk with him.
Sure.
And anyway, but they helped me get this memorial sign program. It's called Tyler's Law, and families who have someone killed, killed, they can apply. There are certain criteria, and they can apply to the state after they have to have a conviction and everything for a sign to be put up either near or at the spot that their loved one was killed.
Mm-hmm.
And it says impaired driving costs innocent lives, and it has the name of your loved one there. And that one is on Madison Street. There's one in Portland, coming out of Portland, coming across the interstate. I saw when I was working over there. They can't be on any interstates. They have to be on a state road.
Okay. But that's powerful. I mean, that's a powerful statement. And I just think that's wonderful. And I kind of tie that into the fact that we're new legislative session. Our Senator Kerry Roberts is actually going to be at the GOP meeting this Saturday. And I think the speech is going to start about 9:25. But that's how you get stuff like that done. Is you go, Kerry helped us with something for the buses. We had, trying to be able to have navigation on our buses. When my husband was safety coordinator for the buses, he was like, why in the world can we not have some kind of electronic, navigation system? You're looking at a piece of paper with directions, when you're, and it was insane. And so he was able to help with that. But they're in new legislative session, and that's how you get things done. And that's exactly what you did. You had something and the same thing with our veterans. We were just, let's kind of piggyback on this, talking about how that we need the veterans to get involved in the veteran organizations, because that's how you have a voice.
Absolutely.
And you get things done. When something needs to happen, a law needs to be changed, or it needs to be, you need to create a law, something to protect our veterans, you need to understand how to do that. And she successfully did that. I just think that's great. So I love how we just kind of tied it all together here, wrapped it up with a bow. Yeah. Are we missing anything from your perspective for veterans that we need to cover before we wrap up our time today?
We mentioned about the being active in the the local organizations like the VFW Legion. The gentleman that came in that Miss Gina and I spoke about, his rent assistance for February. A shout out to American Legion White House, Springfield, and Greenbrier, as well as the VFW in Greenbrier, because that's who is covering his rent.
That's amazing.
And so, and these organizations, I spoke to the gentleman yesterday. He said, Scott, we are more than happy to help. He says, we're just not plugged into a line of communication where we know about veterans in need.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that gets filtered to our office different ways. And so he was just more than happy. He says, if we can do anything else, if we can help any other veteran, he says, keep us in mind.
That's awesome.
So that's part of that membership, all the dues that we pay and membership fees that go to help veterans.
I love it. So there you go, guys. All right, Scott Erwin. If you need to talk with him at the Veteran Service Office, give them hours, location, and all the criticals for me, and do it twice.
So right now, we're Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the office. If you call us 5 days a week at 615-382-6506, 615-382-6506, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30, you will get a hold of one of us, probably Gwen, and she can direct you with either Abigail or myself and get you what you need.
Okay.
So, and again, come April time, we're going to physically be in the office 5 days a week.
That's great.
So
I love
that's
it.
coming.
And they're in the new building across from the county office building. So that's where you can go and check them out. And of course, then the fundraiser this weekend, Gina's going to stay on and continue with Lee Marie with the Go Show. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
And appreciate you guys so much. And I'm going to make my way out for One Street Over, but stick around because I'm really just kind of getting started today. Go Show's coming up next for another full hour of local programming.